Hello everyone, today I want to show you another replay. This one is of Dwarven Riddle on Expert in a 2-player run. I'm uploading this because on YouTube I've so far only found solo versions or 4-player versions. And today I played a 2-player game on Dwarven Riddle and it still worked quite fine. And I wanted to show you the strat we've used. So the two decks two people use are, for one, the person that is basically going on the offensive needs a couple of cards. For the tier 1 you need a Shadow tier 1 Swift unit. For example Witch Claws, which are a cheap option, or you could go for a Dread Charger, but this is more expensive. So if you are going for cheap cards, it's the Witch Claws, alternatively Dread Charger. Then you will need Forsaken, Face Tower. These will become very important when clearing the first camp. And then for tier 2, you're going to need Breeding Grounds. So tier 2 you're going to go Nature. You need Breeding Grounds, a Decomposer, Furnace of Flesh. And that's all you need for tier 2. Well, Decomposer is basically tier 1, but you will only build it later. And you will also need Cultist Master, so this is the first more expensive cards. Costs around 400 to 500 Battleforge points. But together with Furnace of Flesh it's really strong because you spawn these Nightcrawlers, you kill them, and the Furnace of Flesh gives you back all of your void power. So, next up you are gonna need MI Monument. So this is the most expensive card in the deck by far, but it makes it so much easier. And you're going to use, I think it is Frost Orb here. And in tier 4, you are only gonna, basically you only need Giant Worm. But in this run we also used Lost Spirit Ship, but it's not really needed, because this is also a quite expensive card, around 500 BFP. But only Giant Worms works as well. And then you need some support cards for them. Most importantly, Surge of Light and some buffs. You can also pack a Regrowth, but not really that necessary. And then you will need buffs like Unholy Power, Unholy Hero, and Life Weaving. Alright. And for the defensive deck, you will need a deck that looks somewhat like that. This is the deck I used. I was on the defensive part in that game. I used Master Archers to put on the beginning wall. Light Blade, if you want to feed your teammate. But you can also do that with Master Archers, so that's optional. Defense Tower, but I didn't even use it, it's also optional. Warden Sigil, also not used, but it was in my deck. Then Northern Keep. I mainly used the red affinity, but you can also use the blue affinity, they are almost the same. Construction Hut was very useful because this made all the buildings of my teammate much cheaper. Frostbite I didn't even really need. Glaciation, when some attacks come through and you want to protect your walls, it makes your walls take 90% less damage and makes your archers deal more damage, so that's really useful. And lastly, a Cliff of Frost, which is useful as a freeze in tier 1. Alright, so now let's jump into the game and see how we did this. Okay, here we are in the game. And you can immediately see that Shirokami, by the way, Shirokami was the one who was doing the most, the offensive part, and so he was doing the most work, so shoutouts to him. And he immediately starts off running off with a Dread Charger, while I build the walls and put some Master Archers on there. I will mostly focus on what he is doing because my part is rather boring. And this Dread Charger gets slowed by the Bandit Spearman, so he immediately builds a new one. And basically he lets the old one die, and you see here are even more Bandit Spearmen. So as soon as they get attacked, comes another Dread Charger, because those won't be able to escape. And you're basically ignoring all of the enemies here because clearing all of these would take way too long. Now you see he's kiting the Tortugan out of there and running around him. Meanwhile, down here I'm building defenses, and I'm especially using the construction hut so he can build his MI monument cheaper and then all my towers are cheaper. Anyways, up here, another dread charger was spawned, in case this one dies. Especially since there are attacks coming from the tower, so he needs this one to tank. And this one will run up here in the corner where it is safe. You see another one because this one just died. Now let's check his power. He has a lot of power which he will use to spawn Forsaken and Face Towers. Meanwhile, his defense going on down there. Nothing too important. So let's focus on his power level. There you see. Lots of Forsaken.
Forsaken obey.
5 Forsaken, I guess. Yeah, it's 5 of them. Killing these towers while the Dread Charger is tanking. And another squad of Forsaken. We can take down this tower even faster, especially since they are now out of days. There I was just pinging him that the construction hut is done. Now you see one face tower over here and another one will be constructed over here very soon. Just like that. And these will be used as a kind of decoy for the Bandit Lord. So as you see, he is destroying this part of the wall in the very back here. And then later he will be destroying the wall, the gate of the wall, and then he can kite out the Bandit Lord this way. He will focus on the face towers, and meanwhile he can sneak in here and snipe all of these crystals. But you will see that in action very soon. You see he first starts hitting the way station, and the Lord comes over here. He already chipped away a little bit of damage on that. Now he can focus the Bandit Shaman, because he also came out. Meanwhile, the face tower is focusing the wall and especially the gate. Down here even more defense, nothing too important.
Abandon all hope.
And as you see, he's always moving these Forsaken around so they don't attack anything. Because otherwise he might pull aggro the Bandit Lord too soon. I can speed this up a little. Oh, and now you see, when this wall here is destroyed, he focuses the gate with the Forsaken, so it gets destroyed. The Bandit Lord runs out and hits the face tower. Meanwhile he goes in here and snipes all of the crystals. Bandit Lord is attacking the face towers. And he gets down all of the crystals and starts building up the power wells just before the timer's over and the attack will come. And what he's doing now is...
Good. You have access to the inner area. Carry out the same
now we
task
need to
here,
destroy the
only
big
on a grand
crystals,
scale.
obviously. He's sacrificing the Forsaken so the Bandit Lord doesn't get the power well. Now huge attack is coming down here, I'm using a freeze, but it doesn't really matter because he's using the fire altar and this also kills the remaining bandits in this camp. So this camp is immediately cleared and he can build his tier 2 and power well.
Use it to destroy the enemy.
There's another squad of Forsaken to kill this way station so he can grab the well and the monument.
Destroy the red crystal.
And a Dread Charger which he will use to run down here and grab tier 3.
The enemy. Demons. Attracted by
Now
the
you see
slaughter.
shadow units are coming, but this defense is more than enough to kill these.
While we are here, it would be rude not to feast some more, brothers.
More demons will come now. You can use the altar again, but I fear even greater monstrosities will appear.
Now he is
Choose your
using a
time
Dread Charger to
wisely.
run down here. So now he has to avoid one of the green crystal guardians. And another one over here. And you will see a really sneaky technique to grab tier 3. As you see, he already has a lot of power, so you can basically immediately grab all of this. And the thing is, you can grab these wells from down there if you run your Dread Charger really close. Then you immediately kill it so it doesn't pull any aggro. And these won't attack your base just yet if you don't build the orb. You have to wait for a moment until they are gone. Then he can build his tier 3, which is Shadow again, so he has Shadow, Nature and Shadow. And so next up he's gonna build some stuff in the base down here. Let me see it up. Oh yeah. Here we go. A Decomposer, a Furnace of Flesh, and now he's feeding some of my Master Rajas to get some more power, which he's gonna use to build the MI Monument down here. And also a Breeding Ground. I made some Light Blades to feed him even more. Here you see the Cultist Masters to return all of his void up here, and you see now all of the void is immediately back to his normal power pool. He has tier 4, and now he can spawn a Giant Worm. With this Giant Worm he's gonna fly up here, kill the red crystal, and then all of the crystals in the correct order until they are all done, and then we just need to defend the last attack. So we will just follow this dragon around for a little while. He gets attacked quite a bit, but even just a Surge of Light is enough to keep him alive. There you saw all of the buffs.
Destroy the magenta crystal.
Just flying from crystal to crystal using Surge of Light. Here we have Unholy Hero, Life Weaving, and sometimes even using Unholy Power.
Destroy the green crystal. The altar destroys the demons.
Oh yeah, there was the shadow attack coming just a few seconds ago. And then we use the altar again, so now fire attacks are coming, but this defense is enough to kill all of them.
The altar is no use against them. You must survive by your own means.
But now the Giant Worm already killed 4 of the crystals. Let's see him fly down here. And kill another crystal.
Destroy the yellow
there we
crystal.
Go. Now he has to go up here, kill the yellow crystal.
Your forces are under attack.
You get the deal, just fly from crystal to crystal, heal him, buff him.
The blue crystal. Destroy the cyan crystal.
And you can even do this without buffs if you use like a regrowth, so the dragon survives for longer.
Beware.
So, and now the last important part comes. All of these guardians which are still remaining are starting to attack your main bases down here. Also the other base where no players are, but these units are still gonna run there and just wait. And now we have to defend this way. And in order to defend it, we are gonna use this defense I built over the whole match. And he also has 3 Lost Spirit Chips together with a Giant Worm, but if you don't want to use Lost Spirit Chip, you can just use more Giant Worms or basically any other card which fits your monuments. And so I'm even using Glaciation here, so these walls take 90% less damage and the Master Rajas deal 50% more damage. But with these units, this is all not a problem. He's even using regrowth here, so his units don't die. There's more buffs on the breaks. And with that, the wave is defended. Now he's flying up here to kill the remaining units on the other side of the map. There are some Crystal Guardians running to his Thorp, so he's spawning another Giant Worm to kill them. And now just a few more minutes to fly up here. And just kill all of these units, which shouldn't take too long. And as I said, you can just use Giant Worm instead of Spirit Chips. And yeah, that's Dwarven Riddle on Expert with 2 players. A super easy strat. The only expensive card you need is MI Monument and 2 semi-expensive cards, I'd say, but still very easy strategy. Alright, so thank you for watching. If you have any recommendations, let me know.